Because the text is tailored to teach. People may mess up on some details about you, but never let them mess up on who you are. See, people may mess up and have varying opinions and varying ideas about the details around your life and about your life, but make sure they always know who's the head of your life. Let me try it one more time. They may not know everything that's going on in your life, but they need to know who is the head of your life. They need to make sure if they don't know who your mama is, who your daddy is, they know that you are a child of the King. Is there anybody here that can testify that I'm a child of the Most High King? I've only got 1 point, y'all. I got 1 point, and it ain't going to take me long to get there. I ain't got but 1 point. Now, keep in mind, you all, that the centurion was an enemy of Jesus. He is not a follower of Jesus. Nowhere do we read in the Bible, Dedrick, that he has ever raised his hand and worshiped Jesus. We don't find anywhere in the Bible that he's ever heard Jesus preach. Are y'all praying with me? He never spent any significant time with Jesus. He never walked the dusty roads with Jesus. He never had a Bible study with Jesus. He was never seen hanging out with Jesus. He has not spent any significant time with Jesus. And the reality is, why would he hang out with Jesus? Because he was an enemy of Jesus. Just the mere fact that the Bible describes him as a centurion lets us know that he was an enemy of Jesus. Don't miss that now. He was not a friend of Jesus. He was not a partner of Jesus. He was not a student of Jesus. He was not a worshiper of Jesus. He was not a follower of Jesus. He had never had Bible study with Jesus. He, in fact, was an enemy of Jesus. And yet the text declares that he was the one who correctly identifies Jesus. Don't miss that now. He was not a friend of Jesus. He was not a follower of Jesus. He was not a fan of Jesus. He was an enemy of Jesus. And yet he was the only one who correctly identified Jesus. Don't miss that now. He's not a friend of Jesus. He's not a follower of Jesus. He's not a fan of Jesus. Yet he is the only one who correctly identifies Jesus. Can I tell you something real important? Even the enemy will recognize the anointing that's on your life. I wish I had somebody. Even your enemies will recognize the anointing on your life. See, God can anoint you in such a way that even folk that don't like you, who have nothing good to say about you, will have to recognize the anointing that's on you. Listen. The reason some folk don't like you and ain't got no time for you is, watch this, is because with everything they've said about you, the one thing that they cannot deny about you is that when you walk in the room, everybody that's in the room recognizes that somebody who knows God just showed up. Somebody just missed what I said. One thing even your enemy has to admit, that when you show up in a room, you don't have to have a Bible under your arm or cross around your neck, and you ain't got to be speaking in another tongue. But when you walk up in a room, they recognize that somebody who knows God just showed up. You ain't got to say nothing to them. You ain't got to argue with them. You ain't got to prove nothing to them. You ain't got to be validated by them, because when you show up, they know there's something special about you. Look at your neighbor and say, just show up. Now watch this. 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 I looked at Matthew's account. I looked at Luke's account. But there was something interesting about Mark's account that kept calling my name, Billy. Mark says that the centurion was standing in front of Jesus. I said, The centurion is standing in front of Jesus. But technically, that's not true. Come here, Mooch. According to the wording of the text, the centurion was in front of Jesus, which means, I get to be Jesus since I'm the preacher. That means Jesus was right here, and you get to be the centurion. And the centurion was right there. The text says that the centurion was right in front of Jesus. Thank you, Moochie. Give Moochie a hand, you all. The text says that the centurion was right there. But technically, that cannot be true. How do you know, Davis? Because Jesus was on a cross, which meant that the centurion was down there, and Jesus had to be up here. Don't miss this now. The text says that he was in front of Jesus, which would suggest they were face to face. But Jesus is on a cross, which means Jesus is up here, and the centurion is down there. Don't miss this now. The centurion is down there. He is dressed in his royal regalia. He's got his purple on. He's got his finery on, but he's down there. He's got on a pretty robe, but he's down there. He's got on purple, but he's down there. Jesus is up here. All he has is a napkin around his waist. He's got some sweat on his brow. He's got blood running down his chin. But even though the centurion is looking better, Jesus is on a higher level. I can't get no help in here. I said he's looking better, but Jesus is on a higher level. Somebody should have shouted right there. See, somebody can't stand you because they're driving better than you. They're living better than you. They're dressing better than you. They're making more than you. But they're down there and you're up here. Look at your neighbor and say, I'm on another level.